welcome back. Today we are doing something a little different. We aren't just looking at boats.
No, not even.
We aren't even really looking at yachts, not in the traditional sense of the word. We are stepping into a world where naval engineering meets just absolute unbridled excess.
It really is.
We are critiquing floating cities.
It's a different stratosphere completely. I mean, when you get to the size of the vessels we're discussing today, this whole gigayacht category, you're no longer dealing with the standard rules of hydrodynamics or interior design.
Right.
You're dealing with infrastructure planning. You're dealing with power plants that could, light up a small municipality.
Exactly.
And life support systems that could rival a space station.
Exactly. And that is why I'm so excited for this one. We're conducting a high-stakes design review. And to do that properly, I think we have to adopt some personas. I am going to lean heavily into the role of the interior design connoisseur. I'm looking for flow, I'm looking for aesthetics, I'm looking at how a human being actually lives in these massive spaces without feeling like, an ant in a tin can.
And I, naturally, will be taking the role of the naval architect.
Of course.
I'm looking at the hull forms, the propulsion efficiency, the structural integrity, and just the sheer audacity of the engineering required to keep these things afloat and moving. Because quite frankly, making something this heavy float elegantly is a physics problem that shouldn't really be solvable.
The mission is simple. We have a stack of documents, specs, design reviews for 3 specific masterpieces from one specific shipyard, LüRSSEN. We're going to review Ahpo, Dilbar, and Nord.
3 giants.
And we are not acting as sales brokers here. We are not trying to sell these to anyone. We are judges.
Critical judges, yeah. We need to assess them on functionality, on innovation, and whether they actually succeed as pieces of design or if they are just big for the sake of being big.
Because that's the thing, isn't it?
It is. In this industry, big is easy. Good is hard.
But before we get to the contenders, we have to talk about the arena. We have to talk about the shipyard itself. LüRSSEN. In the world of gigayachts, that name just carries a weight it's almost intimidating.
It is the gold standard, and that isn't just marketing fluff. If you look at the history, it is genuinely impressive. I mean, the company was founded way back in 1875 by Friedrich LüRSSEN. To give you some context, that is before the telephone was even patented. And they weren't just building rowboats. In 1886, they built the first motorboat in the world with Gottlieb Daimler.
Wait, the Daimler? As in the car company?
The very same. It was a 6-meter boat with a 1.5 horsepower engine. So LüRSSEN has been at the cutting edge of motorized propulsion since before the car was even a household concept.
That's incredible.
They have this pedigree that spans from that tiny wooden boat to the steel monsters we see today. And it's still a family business that has somehow managed to scale up to, industrial superpower levels.
And when we say monsters, we mean it. But it seems like their philosophy isn't just build it huge. Reading through the background on the shipyard, they seem obsessed with complexity, like they don't want the easy jobs.
That's the why of LüRSSEN. That's their whole deal. They employ over 600 engineers and naval architects. Just think about that number for a second.
600.
That is not a boat builder. That is a technology company. That is a massive R&D department. They have these think tanks inside the company specifically designed to solve problems that don't technically have solutions yet.
Okay, so give me an example of a LüRSSEN problem. What is something they're solving that other yards aren't even touching?
Well, take propulsion and emissions, a perfect example. They aren't just slapping bigger diesel engines into bigger hulls. They are actively researching methanol fuel cells. They are looking at how to make a 150-meter yacht carbon neutral, which is an incredibly difficult thermodynamic puzzle. And they've already developed these exhaust after-treatment systems, they're called SCR systems, that remove about 97% of nitrogen oxides.
Which is incredible because usually when you think of a massive vessel like a cruise ship or a tanker, you just think of a smokestack belching out black smoke.
Exactly. And on a luxury yacht, that is a non-starter. You just can't have soot falling on the owner's breakfast on the aft deck.
Of course not.
So the engineering is driven by luxury, the desire for a clean deck, but the result is genuine innovation in cleaner marine tech. They solve the impossible problems, like how to manage the weight of a swimming pool that holds 180 tons of water inside a moving ship.
We are definitely going to get to that pool when we talk about Dilbar, because that stat just blew my mind. But let's set our criteria for judgment today. We have 3 yachts. How are we scoring them?
I think we need 3 pillars. First, aesthetics. Is it beautiful or is it just a block of steel?
Good.
Second, innovation. Does it push the industry forward technically? And third, functionality.
Right. Does the flow work?
Yeah.
Because you can have the most advanced ship in the world, but if the owner feels like they are living in a hospital or a submarine, it fails as a yacht.
It fails as a home.
It fails as a home, exactly.
Precisely. It has to function as a vessel and as a residence.
All right, let's bring out the first contender. This one is often described as a symphony of elegance. It is the 115.1 meter Ahpo.
Ahpo, delivered in 2021.
Now, first off, the name, Ahpo. It means grandmother in Hakka Chinese.
Which immediately sets a tone, doesn't it? It implies heritage, it implies family, it suggests a certain, I don't know, matriarchal warmth. It's not an aggressive name like Vengeance or Eclipse.
And that is such a huge contrast to the aggressive masculine energy you usually see in this industry. The stats on this one, 115 meters long with a gross tonnage of 5,257.
And that is a significant number to keep in mind, 5,257 GT. It is big, absolutely massive by normal standards. A typical super yacht might be, what, 500 GT?
Right.
This is 10 times that. But compared to what we're going to see later with Dilbar, it's actually quite restrained.
The designers here are Naval for both the interior and the exterior. And the top speed is 18 knots, powered by twin MTU engines.
A very standard, very reliable propulsion package. But let's look at that exterior design. You mentioned Symphony of Elegance. As a naval architect, usually I look for efficiency first. But here I have to admit the visual language is striking. It doesn't look like a layer cake.
It is stunning. The hull isn't just white. It's this mix of white and black paint that connects the superstructure all the way down to the waterline. It makes the whole thing look swooping.
It does.
Like it's moving even when it's standing still. It feels very organic.
It creates a cohesive profile. But the thing that really stands out to me looking at the general arrangement plans is the mast.
The mast. That's what you're focusing on.
Yes, absolutely. Look at the silhouette. It doesn't look like a spaceship. It doesn't look like a radar tower some intern stuck on top.
Okay.
It looks like the funnel of a mid-20th century ocean liner. It has this classic tapering solidity to it. It reminds me of the golden age of cruising. It has real character.
You know, now that you say that, I see it. It gives it a bit of a retro vibe, but not in a kitschy way. It feels timeless. It's almost like they are saying, we don't need to look like Star Trek to be modern.
And that is Naval-Lenard's signature. They balance the futuristic with the classic. But look at the windows.
The half-moon windows, they're beautiful.
Exactly. And the tapered decks, this is where form meets function. Those tapered decks, they aren't just for style, they improve the aerodynamic profile, they reduce windage.
Right.
And those windows flood the interior with light. But from the outside, they break up the mass of the hull so it doesn't look like a slab of steel. It creates rhythm. It's very clever.
Let's move inside, because this is where my persona as the design connoisseur really comes out. The theme here is nature meets luxury. And they really committed to the bit. It isn't just a few plotted plants.
How deep does it go?
It is all about organic shapes. Circles, curves, swerves. There isn't a sharp corner in sight, which is amazing on a boat. The standout piece for me, the one that made me just stop, is the dining table. It's made of glass. But embedded inside are these handcrafted glass water lilies swirling in concentric circles.
Wow, like ripples in a pond.
Exactly. It's not just a table. It is an art installation. And then you go down to the wellness area on the lower deck, and there is a bamboo grove encased in this backlit frosted glass.
Ah, so it glows.
It glows. It creates this sense of being in a sanctuary, not on a machine. It just softens all that steel.
That aligns perfectly with the name grandmother. It is meant to be a nurturing space. But I need to talk about the layout of the owner's deck. This is a duplex, a two-level apartment, essentially.
It's huge. But what I found interesting, and honestly, a bit controversial from a design standpoint, was the trade-off they made between privacy and the view.
Right. This is a great point. If you look at the deck plans, the terraces on the owner's deck are recessed into the hull. They are cut back deep into the superstructure.
Why do that?
Yeah.
Usually you want to project out to see everything. You want the big panorama.
No, privacy. It's all about privacy. By recessing the terrace, you completely block the line of sight from the side walkways and from the decks above and below.
I see.
The owner can be out there having coffee in their bathrobe, and no crew member, no guest, no paparazzi drone can see them. It creates this perfect tunnel of vision strictly out to the horizon.
That is a very specific, very deliberate design choice. It sacrifices peripheral vision for total isolation. I like it. It feels very protective. It turns the deck into a private cocoon.
And then there is the winter garden on the aft deck.
Oh, I love a winter garden. It's basically a convertible room, right?
Essentially, it's an aft deck area that can be fully open to the breeze or completely enclosed with glass panels that slide into place.
Yeah.
It means you can use that space, whether you are in the Caribbean or, the North Sea.
Right.
It extends the usable square footage of the yacht dramatically.
It solves the biggest problem of yacht design, which is that half the boat becomes unusable if the wind picks up or if it gets a bit chilly. This makes it a four-season vessel.
Okay, Mr. Interior Designer, that's all very pretty. But tell me about the guts of this thing. What is happening below the waterline? Because there is one feature in the engine room that I absolutely love. It is the glass walkway.
A glass walkway in an engine room. Isn't that usually like loud, hot, and oily?
Yeah.
Why would you want to walk through there?
That is the point. Usually the engine room is the dark place where the engineers toil. It's purely utilitarian. But on Ahpo, they built a glass corridor cutting straight through the middle of the machinery space.
So guests can walk through.
Exactly. It turns the machinery into an art exhibit. You can walk through in your tuxedo holding a martini and look at the polished cylinder heads of the MTU engines, see the chrome, see the piping.
Wow.
But you are acoustically and thermally isolated. You don't hear the noise, you don't feel the heat, you just see the heart of the ship beating.
That is such a flex. It's saying, our engineering is so clean and so beautiful, we want to show it off. It's like a Michelin star restaurant with an open kitchen.
It really is. But there is also some seriously smart eco-efficiency here. They have a heat recovery system on the generators.
Unpack that for me. How does that work?
So giant diesel generators produce electricity, but they also produce a massive amount of waste heat. Usually that heat just goes up the stack and warms up the atmosphere. It's just wasted energy.
Right.
On Ahpo, they capture that thermal energy using heat exchangers and use it to heat the swimming pool water.
So you aren't burning extra fuel just to keep the pool warm.
Exactly. It's free energy, in a sense. It reduces the hotel load, the electrical demand of the yacht. It's just smart engineering. It closes the loop. And they also have dynamic positioning.
That's the electronic anchoring, right?
Yes. Instead of dropping a massive metal anchor and chain, which just destroys coral reefs and seabeds.
It tears everything up.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
The computer uses the thrusters and propellers to hold the ship in the exact GPS coordinate. It adjusts for wind and current instantly. It's crucial if you want to visit sensitive environments like the reefs the owner loves without destroying them.
So, Ahpo. The verdict so far.
It's sophisticated, it's refined, it feels very, very well thought out.
It feels like a family-focused gigayacht.
Yeah.
Despite being 115 meters, it somehow feels intimate. It prioritizes wellness. I mean, there is a gym on the sky deck with a 100-meter walking track around it.
That's crazy.
It's designed for living well, not just showing off.
It's a sanctuary. It's not trying to shout. It's trying to comfort.
Unlike our next contender.
Oh, yes. Unlike the next one, we are leaving the sanctuary now and entering the palace.
Let's talk about Dilbar, the volume king.
Dilbar. Delivered in 2016. The name means beloved in Persian, and it was also named after the owner's mother.
Okay, so we have another mother tribute. A nice theme, but that is where the similarities just end.
Absolutely. Ahpo was 115 meters. Dilbar is 156 meters. That makes her the fourth longest yacht in the world. But length is a vanity metric here. It's almost irrelevant.
It is.
We need to talk about the gross tonnage, the internal volume.
Hit me with the number.
15,917 GT.
15,917. Ahpo was roughly 5,000, so Dilbar is...
Triple. It is triple the volume of Ahpo.
That is hard to even wrap your head around. It's not just longer, it's massive in every single dimension. It's wider, it's taller, it's deeper.
It is arguably the biggest yacht in the world by mass. The amount of enclosed space is just staggering. It's not a boat, it's a building that floats. And despite that incredible bulk, she does 22.5 knots.
That is shockingly fast for a floating island. That's faster than most ferries. Who designed this Leviathan?
Espen Aino on the exterior, winch design on the interior.
Let's talk about that exterior.
Like-
Because making something this big not look like a cruise ship is a massive, massive challenge. Usually when you get this big, you just lose the lines.
It is the scale problem. When you have 7 decks and that much height, it can easily look like a wedding cake or, an office building. But Espen Aino managed to make it look timeless. And the hull color helps. It's this distinctive light ivory with bronze accents.
Ivory and bronze. It sounds like jewelry.
It softens the visual impact. If it were stark white or navy blue, it might look too military or too commercial. The ivory makes it look elegant, almost creamy. And did you notice the helipads?
2 of them, plural.
2 certified helipads, capable of taking an H-175 helicopter, one on the bow, one aft. This allows for simultaneous arrivals and departures. It's all about logistical dominance.
You can shuttle guests in and out without pausing operations.
Exactly.
Moving inside. If Ahpo was a nature sanctuary, Dilbar is a floating mansion. Or maybe a floating palace.
Gentlemen's Club is the vibe I get from the photos. It's a stark contrast. Rare woods, precious stones, bronze everywhere. It is opulent in a very traditional, very heavy way. It feels expensive.
There is an anecdote in the notes here that sums up the scale for me better than anything: the cushions.
The cushions, I couldn't believe this number.
There are over 1,000 custom sofa cushions on board.
1,000. Imagine the logistics of that. Just storing them, cleaning them, placing them every single morning. It illustrates the sheer manpower required to run this vessel. We are talking about a crew of 96 people.
96 crew for 24 guests. That is a 4-to-1 ratio.
It is.
That is unheard of. Even in the best hotels in the world, you don't get that.
It defines the level of service. You could have 4 people dedicated just to your specific needs for your entire stay. But as a naval architect, the interior feature that keeps me up at night, the one that really makes my palms sweat, is the pool.
The pool, it's the centerpiece. 25 meters long.
25 meters. That is a semi-Olympic lap pool inside a yacht. It holds 180 cubic meters of water. That is 180 tons of liquid weight sloshing around.
Why is that a nightmare for you? Why does the water matter so much?
It's called the free surface effect. This is physics 101 for naval architecture.
Yeah.
When you have a solid cargo, like boxes, they stay put.
Yeah.
But when you have a large tank of liquid that is only partially full, or in this case, an open pool, as the ship rolls from side to side,
The water moves with the roll.
it moves after the roll. If the ship rolls left, 180 tons of water surge left a split second later, pushing the ship further over. It acts like a pendulum that amplifies the movement. It can destabilize a vessel instantly.
So the pool could actually capsize the yacht?
In a poorly designed ship, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
The free surface effect can capsize a vessel if not calculated and compensated for perfectly.
So how do you stop it?
Massive active stabilization systems, and likely a very complex baffle system inside the pool's holding tanks, or even rapid dump tanks. The engineering required to make a 25-meter indoor pool safe on the high seas is astronomical. It is arguably the most impressive technical feat on the entire ship. It's brute force engineering conquering physics.
And speaking of technical feats, let's go to the engine room. You mentioned 22.5 knots. How are they moving this mountain?
Diesel-electric propulsion. This is the largest power plant ever installed on a yacht. 30,000 kilowatts.
Why diesel electric? Why not just connect the big engines to the propellers like on a normal boat?
Because of something called the hotel load.
Hotel load.
The electricity needed to run everything that isn't propulsion. The lights, the AC, the galleys, the pool heaters, the cinemas, the entertainment systems. On Dilbar, the hotel load is equivalent to a small city.
Okay.
By using diesel electric, the massive generators create a huge pool of electricity that can be sent anywhere. It can go to the electric motors to turn the propellers, or it can go to the house to run the AC and the lights.
That was completely flexible.
Exactly. It allows for much better torque control, a smoother ride, and massive flexibility. You don't have to run the main engines just to watch a movie. You can run one generator and powers everything you need.
And the cabling required to move all that power. I saw a stat here that I thought it was a typo.
1,100 kilometers of cabling.
Called? No.
1,100 kilometers. The source material points out that is longer than the entire north-south length of France. If you laid the cables end to end, they would stretch across an entire country.
That is mind-boggling. Imagine being the electrician on that job. If a wire frays, how do you even find it?
You need a computerized monitoring system just to watch the wires. It's an entire nervous system. And yet, for all this power, it's supposed to be quiet.
How can it possibly be quiet with 30,000 kilowatts of diesel burning?
That is another LüRSSEN innovation. It's called an air injection system. They actually pump air under the hull and around the thrusters.
Like a bubble bath.
In a way. It creates a cushion of air bubbles. The changing density of the aerated water creates an impedance mismatch for the sound waves. It basically traps the propeller noise under the hull.
So it's a sound barrier made of air.
Essentially, yes. So you have 30,000 kilowatts of power, but inside the guest suites, it's whisper quiet. You don't hear the propellers, you just feel the smooth, silent glide.
So the USP for Dilbar, what is the unique selling point here?
Dominance. Total capability. It isn't just a yacht, it is a statement of power. It says, I can do anything, go anywhere, and bring an army of staff with me. It defines opulence through volume. It's about not having to compromise on a single thing.
It's impressive, but honestly, It's almost intimidating. It feels corporate. It feels like a statement, not a home.
It is absolutely designed to be. It commands respect.
All right, let's pivot to our final contender. We have had the Organic Sanctuary, Ahpo, and the Volume King, Dilbar. Now we have some completely different. We have Nord.
Nord, delivered in 2021, same year as Ahpo, but philosophically they are worlds apart. It's like they came from different planets.
The designers, Naval again, described this one as a warship wearing a tuxedo.
And that is the perfect description. It's 141.6 meters long, 10,154 GT. So it sits right in the middle between Ahpo and Dilbar in terms of size, but visually, it stands completely alone.
It looks aggressive. It looks mean. If I saw this coming at me on the water, I'd be worried.
It's the bow. It's all about the bow. Instead of the sleek, raked bow of Ahpo, Nord has this blunt, bulbous, vertical bow. It looks like it is designed to smash through things. It prioritizes maximizing the waterline length over looking pretty.
And the color palette helps that vibe. Cream, blue, and black. It feels icy. It feels serious.
Ice class is the key term here. This isn't just an aesthetic choice. The hull is physically reinforced for polar regions.
But let's talk about that visor. This is the most controversial part of the design, that black arch.
Ah, yes. The black painted arch that sweeps over the superstructure.
It looks like the bridge of a Star Destroyer or an aircraft carrier. It totally masks the top decks.
It does, but it integrates the radar and communications domes. Usually those are just stuck on a mast like Christmas tree ornaments. Here, they are wrapped in this aerodynamic black cowling.
It does look very clean.
It gives the yacht a forward momentum, a sense of focus. It looks like a military frigate. It says, I am on a mission.
But then you step inside, or you look at the features, and you realize this warship is built for fun, but serious fun. Not drinking champagne fun, but James Bond fun.
Exploration mode. That is the vibe. Look at the hangar.
This is my favorite feature on Nord, hands down. The retractable helicopter hangar.
A lot of yachts have hangars, but this one slides into the superstructure, and when the helicopter is gone, what happens?
It converts into a glass-sided squash court.
That is genius utility. It's absolutely brilliant. Usually a hangar is just a dark, oily garage when the chopper's out. It's dead space. Here, they solved the dead space problem. They turned a utility space into a guest amenity.
It's transformative architecture. And then there is the beach club. On Ahpo, the beach club was for massage and zen. On Nord,
it's for action. It has a full diving center, it has submarine storage, it has an ROV garage that's a remotely operated vehicle.
So you aren't just sitting by the water, you are going under it. You are exploring the seabed with a remote control submarine.
Exactly. This yacht is designed for an owner who wants to do things. It accommodates 36 guests in 20 suites.
That's a lot of cabins. That's more than usual for a private yacht.
It is. It implies large expeditions, groups of scientists or friends or family going to Antarctica. It's not just for the owner and his wife. It's for a whole team.
Let's talk about the engineering required for that. You mentioned ice class. What does that actually mean? Is it just like thicker paint?
No, it's a structural thing. Ice class 1D. That means the hull plating is thicker steel. The framing, the ribs inside the hull is denser, closer together. It can handle impacts from floating ice. It can go places Ahpo and Dilbar simply cannot.
So it's a real explorer.
If Dilbar hit a chunk of ice, it would dent. Nord is designed to push through it.
And stabilizers. Must be important for those rough seas.
Crucial. Because of that tall superstructure, that warship profile, it has a lot of windage. The wind pushes against it like a sail, so they need massive zero-speed stabilizers to keep it upright and comfortable in the rough waters of the Drake Passage or the North Sea.
And like the others, it has the clean exhaust tech.
Yes, the SCR system,
yeah.
Which is even more critical here. If you are taking this boat to Antarctica or the pristine fjords of Norway, you cannot be leaving a trail of smog. The environmental sensitivity is a prerequisite for the destination.
You can't be the person melting the glacier you came to see.
Precisely.
So Nord. The USP.
Versatility and aggression. It creates strong emotions. You might hate the look. Some people think it looks too severe, but you absolutely cannot ignore it. It combines the finish of a super yacht with the utility of a research vessel. It's the ultimate crossover vehicle.
Okay, we have reviewed the tapes, we have inspected the hulls, we have walked the decks, at least mentally. It is time for the verdict.
This is the hard part. These are three of the most expensive, most complex objects ever built by humans.
Let's do a comparative debate.
All right.
First, let's look at the two Naval designs, Ahpo versus Nord. Same shipyard, same year, same designers. and they're total opposites.
It really shows the range of the shipyard and the designers, doesn't it? Ahpo is the grandmother. It's feminine, it's organic, it's flowing. It's about being inside the boat and looking out at nature.
Right.
Nord is the warrior. It's masculine, hard-edged, aggressive. It's about the boat asserting itself against nature.
That is a great way to put it. Ahpo coexists with the ocean. Nord conquers it.
Exactly. One flows with the waves, the other cuts through them. It's a fundamental difference in philosophy.
And then there's Dilbar. How does she fit in? The giant in the room.
Dilbar is in a league of its own, just by sheer physics. It dominates through mass. But the debate is it too big?
Does it lose the intimacy? Does it lose the feeling of being on a boat at all?
I think it does. I think it must. On Ahpo, you can imagine walking from your cabin to the gym and seeing family members. On Dilbar, you might need a golf cart, or at least an elevator ride, to find anyone.
It's a corporate scale.
It feels like a hotel, not a home.
But if we are critiquing functionality, where do we land?
I think Ahpo wins on livability. The flow, the winter garden, the way the crew areas are hidden but efficient. It feels like a home. It feels human scale, even at 115 meters.
I agree completely. Ahpo is where I would want to spend a month with my family. It feels safe and warm and beautiful.
Dilbar wins on capability, but purely in terms of hosting. The range, the guest capacity, the sheer volume. If you want to host a state dinner or an international summit at sea, you do it on Dilbar. It's a venue.
A floating convention center.
And Nord. Nord wins on engineering, audacity, and adventure. No question. The retractable hangar, the ice-class hull, the submarine garage. It is the most capable in terms of where it can go and what it can do. It's the ultimate toy box.
Okay, so we have to pick a winner. The ultimate masterpiece. Your pick.
From a naval architect's perspective, I am torn between Dilbar and Nord.
Why?
Dilbar, because managing that volume, the pool, the stability, the power grid is a technical miracle. It shouldn't work, but it does. It defies physics. But Nord pushes the envelope of what a yacht is. It blurs the line between luxury and exploration.
And your choice is?
I think I have to give the edge to Nord for the sheer complexity of its mission profile. It's harder to build a luxury icebreaker than it is to build a luxury hotel.
Interesting. As the design connoisseur, I'm going with Ahpo.
The grandmother?
Yes. Because visually and thematically, it is the most coherent. The exterior lines match the interior vibe perfectly. The glass engine room, the nature theme, it feels like a complete thought from start to finish. Dilbar feels like a display of wealth, and Nord feels like a military exercise. Ahpo feels like art. It has a soul. That is a fair assessment. Cohesion is rare in these big projects. Often they can feel disjointed, like a collection of rooms. Ahpo feels whole.
So is there a consensus here? Can we find one?
I think we can agree on a timeline. Dilbar represents the peak of the bigger is better era. It's the ultimate expression of maximum volume. It's the peak of the mountain.
Right. The dinosaur at the end of the Jurassic period. The biggest of the big.
Nord represents the evolution into extreme utility. The shift away from just sitting in St. Tropez to actually going to the ends of the earth. It represents a change in what owners want to do. They want to explore.
I think Ahpo represents the future. It's smarter, it's more eco-conscious with the heat recovery and dynamic positioning. It's family-oriented rather than party-oriented. It's efficient booty. It's where the industry needs to go.
I love that. The peak, the evolution, and the future.
That sums up LüRSSEN quite well, actually. They built all three, and they built them all within a few years of each other, which is just staggering.
So, listener, we turn it over to you. We are handing you the keys, well, probably a key card or a biometric scanner. Which one do you take?
Do you want the Sanctuary?
Ahpo? The Palace? Dilbar?
Or the Explorer? Nord?
It's a tough choice. But one thing is absolutely clear. LüRSSEN has a lock on this heavy displacement custom market. They're building things that other shipyards simply can't touch.
And they aren't stopping. We talked about methanol. We talked about hydrogen. They're already working on the next generation.
That's the provocative thought I want to leave everyone with. If Dilbar was 2016 and Ahpo and Nord were 2021, what does the 150-meter yacht of 2035 look like?
Will it even have smokestacks? Or will it be a completely silent, hydrogen-powered glass sculpture? Will it be submersible?
With LüRSSEN's R&D department, I wouldn't bet against it. They seem to enjoy making the impossible possible.
Neither would I. They're rewriting the rulebook every single time they launch a boat.
Before you go, do yourself a favor. Google two things. Look up Ahpo glass engine room. It is truly stunning. And then look up Nord yacht bow. You have to see that aggressive profile to believe it.
It really puts the warship comment into perspective. It's visceral.
Absolutely. And just a quick disclaimer before we sign off. Everything we discussed today is based on the factual specifications and design intents provided by the builders and industry press. We are just the admiring critics.
Admiring and maybe slightly envious critics.
Speak for yourself. I'm perfectly happy with well, I'm not happy with my dinghy anymore. Not after this. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll catch you on the next one.